A short story about obsession. In 1508, Michelangelo was asked by Pope Julius II if he would paint the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel. Michelangelo was hesitant to accept. In fact, he kind of wanted to say no. Why? Well, he did not think that he would do a good job of it. Michelangelo did not see himself as a painter. He was a sculptor. He worked with clay and stone. And more importantly, he had very little experience in painting the kind of frescoes that the ceiling of the chapel would demand of him. All in all, he was afraid that he would embarrass himself publicly on the greatest stage in the art world at that time. Michelangelo also suspected that there might be more to the request than met the eye. And he was kind of right in this. Bramante, one of his rivals, shared Michelangelo's opinion. He also did not think that Michelangelo would be up to the task and hoped that he would embarrass himself, that he would fail. He was preying on Michelangelo's downfall. And, fortunately for all of us, Bramante had access to the ear of the Pope, and he convinced the Pope that Michelangelo was the right man for the job. In the end, Michelangelo could not refuse. He was forced into saying yes. Michelangelo entered the chapel in 1508, full of doubt and hesitation. But he quickly immersed himself in the work, and soon he became obsessed. During the 4 years it would take him to paint the ceiling, Michelangelo deliberately structured his life to remove almost all social and professional contact. He dismissed most of the assistants that he had acquired for the job, he restricted access into the chapel itself, and he generally kept himself isolated from the public. Fun story, the scaffolding that was in place when Michelangelo started his work was designed by Bramante, and he had intentionally done a bad job of it. It was forcing Michelangelo into extremely awkward physical positions and made his work almost impossible. He was forced into redesigning it, and when doing this, he designed it in such a way that it would shield him and the ceiling from anyone visiting on the floor of the chapel. He did all of this, went to such great length to isolate himself, not out of secrecy, but for concentration. He let his work consume him. He ate little, he slept sporadically, he would wear nothing but his work clothes, and he neglected grooming and social life. His world was narrowed to nothing but the scaffolding, the plaster, the paint, the pigments, his work, and the ceiling, which was the canvas he performed it on. His friends at this time would write about Michelangelo that he had become withdrawn and hard to get a hold of. Michelangelo himself would write a poem partway through these 4 years, and his tone is not exactly heroic or inspiring. The work was incredibly physically demanding of him. He was forced into keeping his spine and his neck distorted for very long hours at a time. Paint kept dripping into his eyes. He felt physically ruined, exhausted, frustrated, demotivated. But obsessed as he was, he could not stop. When he revealed his work to the public 4 years later, it was a masterpiece, a seminal work in human artistry and creativity. Looking back, the nature of his work followed a clear-cut arc: isolation, immersion, obsession, personal struggle, skill acquisition, and in the end, mastery. Isolation and obsession birthed one of the greatest works of human art in history. Without them, it would probably not have happened at all. Certainly not as it did. 150 years later, a young math student would be forced into isolation when a plague hit England in 1665. Isaac Newton, who at 22 was attending Cambridge, was forced to return to the countryside, to his home at Woolsthorpe Manor. There, he found himself without lectures, without professors or classmates, without any of the structure he was used to. He had almost nothing but time and questions. At first, not much happened, but as he wrote, questioned, and walked through the nearby fields, he soon became obsessed. obsessed with motion, light, gravity, and the fundamental laws that govern the world around us. For 2 years, he remained isolated this way, deeply immersed and obsessed with his work. And when the plague lifted, his list of achievements was pretty great. He had invented calculus, furthered the field of optics by performing groundbreaking experiments, and, as a nice little treat, discovered the laws of motion and gravity. Again, the pattern of isolation, immersion, obsession, struggle, skill expansion, and in the end mastery allowed Newton to plumb the depths of how the world works around us in a way which he would probably never have been able to had it not been for the circumstances at hand. Later in life, he would write about this time as his most productive, the time when he was thinking the clearest. Obsession, paired with isolation, can lead to monumental progress, whatever the field is. So, if you're feeling stuck, or if you're not moving as quickly as you want to, maybe you should try isolating yourself. Allow your work to consume you. Become obsessed. Now, this is not easy to do in today's world. Our phones, laptops, and TVs are constantly intruding on us, disturbing our peace and dissolving our focus. But on the other hand, I also think that just leaves a bigger opportunity to those who are able to seize it. Isolation and focus creates obsession. Obsession creates learning. Learning deepens obsession. Obsession sharpens identity, and identity intensifies work.